Hello everyone, this is Dr. Sangeeta Chaudhary and again I welcome you all to my lecture class. And today I am going to talk about systemic lupus erythematosus or SLE. It is one of the most common connective tissue disease. It is an inflammatory condition and autoimmune disorder. It can involve multiple systems in our body. It's also known as multi-system connective tissue disease. The incidence is influenced by gender. The male-female ratio is 1:9. That means it is much commoner in female. The disease may have spontaneous relapse and remission. It is more frequently associated with person having HLA-DR2 and DR3. Coming to the etiology and pathogenesis, if you look at this picture, there are certain predisposing factors like certain genes and environmental factors like ultraviolet light, smoking, exposure to silica, Epstein-Barr virus infection, and femaleness. Whenever there is an interaction between the genetic factors and environmental factors, there will be defective suppression of the immune networks. There will be presentation of antigen to the dendritic cell, ultimately leading to activation of T cell and B cell. B cell will convert to plasma cell, and this plasma cell will secrete or form different autoantibodies. These autoantibodies will react with the antigens in different parts of our body, and result in inflammation. At this stage, patient will have rash, nephritis, arthritis, leukopenia, CNS disorders, carditis, and clotting abnormalities. If the inflammation persists because of the chronic inflammation and chronic oxidative stress, there will be permanent damage in different parts of the body like renal failure, atherosclerosis, pulmonary fibrosis, stroke, all these things. Many of the clinical features are due to trapping of antigen-antibody complexes in capillary of the viscera, or may be due to antibody-mediated destruction of host cell. There is something known as drug-induced lupus. So before making a diagnosis of systemic lupus erythematosus, we should exclude the intake of any drugs which can lead to lupus-like feature. For example, antiarrhythmic like phenytoin, antihypertensive like hydralazine, antiarrhythmic drugs like procainamide, then antitubercular agent like isoniazid can cause lupus-like features. In the diagnostic criteria, there are criteria which are subdivided into clinical manifestation and immunologic manifestation. To label a case as definite SLE, there should be 4 criteria fulfilled, out of which one should be from clinical manifestation and one should be from immunologic manifestations. In the skin, there can be many features like acute or subacute cutaneous lupus erythematosus, chronic lupus erythematosus. There may be oral or nasal ulceration, non-scarring alopecia, synovitis involving more than 2 joints, serositis. Then renal involvement, neurologic involvement, and in the hematopoietic system, there can be hemolytic anemia, leukopenia, lymphopenia, thrombocytopenia. In the immunologic manifestation, in the lab test, there will be presence of ANA or anti-dsDNA, anti-Smith antibody, anti-phospholipid antibody, any of the lupus anticoagulant, anti-cardiolipin, and anti-beta glycoprotein antibody. Presence of low serum complement, especially C3 and C4, and positive direct Coombs test in absence of hemolytic anemia. So these are the features. We have almost discussed about the clinical features now. In the systemic features, there may be fever, malaise, or weight loss. Mucocutaneous we have discussed. This is a picture showing development of digital ulceration. These are digital ulceration as a result of severe secondary Raynaud's phenomena. Later we are going to discuss about Raynaud's phenomena. And on the right hand side, this picture shows presence of typical malar rash. It is erythematous rash involving the nasal bridge and the cheeks, though there is sparing of nasolabial fold. These folds are spared, as you can see. In the musculoskeletal system, if there is presence of deforming arthritis, you should think of other diseases because deforming arthritis is very rare in case of SLE. Renal manifestation, typical lesion is proliferative glomerulonephritis. In the cardiopulmonary, it can cause pleurisy, pleural effusion, alveolar hemorrhage, pericarditis, myocarditis, arrhythmias, Liebman-Sack endocarditis. Presence of antiphospholipid antibody suggests increased risk of venous thromboembolism. In the CNS, basically it can cause anything: cognitive impairment, psychosis or seizure, peripheral or cranial neuropathies, transverse myelitis. Hematological manifestations we have already discussed. In the lab finding, there is presence of ANA. Almost 95 to 98% cases ANA will be positive, but ANA is less specific for SLE, whereas anti-dsDNA and anti-Smith's antibody are quite specific, but they are not very sensitive. Anti-dsDNA antibody is present only in around 60% of cases of SLE, and anti-Smith only in around 30% cases of SLE. Complements will be depressed, especially C3 and C4. Presence of antiphospholipid antibody may be there. Okay, this is the list of autoantibodies which we can find in a patient of SLE. ANA or antinuclear antibody, anti-dsDNA, anti-Smith antibody, anti-RNP, anti-Rho or SSA, anti-La or SSB, anti-histone antibody. Presence of anti-histone antibody is specific for drug-induced lupus. Presence of antiphospholipid antibody is suggestive of associated antiphospholipid syndrome. Anti-erythrocyte antibody resulting in hemolytic anemia, antiplatelet antibody resulting in thrombocytopenia, anti-neuronal antibody or anti-ribosomal P antibody. Okay, presence of these antibodies are highly suggestive that the patient will have CNS manifestations or psychosis. In the management, in early cases or cases with less symptoms, we can treat the patient conservatively. Okay. In cases of photosensitivity, we can ask the patient to avoid sun exposure and apply sun protection factors. Sometimes we can use local steroids. In case of arthralgia, mild arthralgia, we can prescribe NSAIDs and rest. Hydroxychloroquine can also be prescribed for rash and joint symptoms. Steroids are also frequently needed along with methotrexate or azathioprine. Increased doses of corticosteroids are needed in cases of synovitis, pleuropericarditis or thrombocytopenic purpura. Lupus nephritis and CNS lupus are medical emergencies where they will require high dose of steroids, methylprednisolone 10 mg per kg per day in combination with cyclophosphamide. It is given in around every 15 days for 6 cycles, followed by maintenance therapy. Mycophenolate mofetil plus steroids can also be used. Patient with antiphospholipid syndrome should receive anticoagulation with heparin or warfarin. This is the flowchart of diagnosis and initial therapy of SLE. If you go through it, it will be very easy for you. Diagnosis: when we suspect a patient might be having SLE from the symptoms complex, then we can go for laboratory tests like ANA, CBC, platelets and urine analysis. If all tests are normal and symptoms subside, that means it is not SLE. If all tests are normal but symptoms persist, then we can do repeat test. Repeat ANA, we can add anti-dsDNA and anti-Rho antibody. If again all comes negative, that means there is no SLE. If some are positive, then we should find out if it's a definite SLE or not. Or initially, if ANA comes as positive, then again we should review the case and we should find out if there is presence of definite SLE. That means more than 4 criteria, more than or equal to 4 criteria should be fulfilled. In the treatment, if there is no life or organ threatening complication and quality of life is acceptable, then conservative management will do. If quality of life is not acceptable, then conservative management plus low dose of steroid or belimumab can be used. If there is presence of life or organ threatening complication, high dose of glucocorticoids should be used in addition of a second agent. The second agent can be either mycophenolate mofetil or cyclophosphamide, low or high dose. If there is no response with cyclophosphamide or mycophenolate, then we can go ahead and try with belimumab, rituximab, calcineurin inhibitors like cyclosporin or tacrolimus, and experimental therapies we can try. But if there is response, then we can taper the dose of all agents, especially glucocorticoid. After response, the maintenance can be done with mycophenolate or azathioprine. If you talk about prognosis, Prognosis is not so bad if the patient is treated properly. 10-year survival rate is more than 85%. Early mortality is usually due to organ failure or sepsis, and late mortality is due to premature cardiovascular disease. So this is in short all about SLE. Thank you.